Germans love their potatoes, and today I want to show you two recipes that would show up often in my home when I was a kid growing up in Germany, that my mom often made and that are so delicious and really easy to make with just a few tricks and tips to know. The first one is going to be what we call Kartoffelpuffer, which is basically the German word for potato cakes. And I'm going to show you a few things about how to make them. And because we're dealing with oil and fat, and I don't like splatters on my sweater, I'm going to put my apron on. I have my bowl, I have my grater, and I have this nifty tool, which is a Swiss vegetable grater. I love this way it lies in your hand. It's actually really easy to peel potatoes, and we're just gonna make this one. I'm choosing a russet potato. I like that a little bit better because the latkes or the potato cakes are not gonna be as chewy, but presumably you could also take Yukon Golds or red potatoes for this recipe. So we're just gonna peel this one really quick. There's this piece right here that allows you to get rid of eyes in there. And then it's interesting because this one has a very interesting shape, so we're gonna work around it. But this is a real potato in real life. On this grater, you have three sides. You have the coarse side, you have a very fine side, and then you have this one. My mom actually often used this side. I personally like this side the best. It's a little bit the best of both worlds between this one and that one. With this one, you often get these individual strands sticking out from your potato cakes. So I personally like this one. It takes a little bit longer. If you have a food processor, I guess you could use that too, but sometimes I find that cleaning up the food processor takes just as much time than to just grate the potato manually, and I don't know, I like it old-fashioned sometimes. You can see that there is water from the potato collecting here, and I like to keep things simple. There's a lot of people who will actually press this out in a kitchen towel or something like that. I just actually find that leaving your grated potatoes like this will collect the water down here fine, and I'm just going to use a spoon and spoon it off because that one makes it a little bit soggy and not quite as crisp. So we're gonna get rid of that with just a spoon. Comes out really easily. Yeah, you're gonna lose a tiny amount, but I don't worry so much about it. Because it adds a nice flavor component, I'm just gonna grate a little bit of onion in here, and I'm gonna do that on this side here. I don't even know what this side is called. To that, I'm gonna add about a good heaping tablespoon of flour, some salt, and an egg. Now we'll just mix everything up. This is about a good amount for one person. If you have more than one person, you can easily double the recipe, triple it. It also depends on whether you're eating this as a main, which a lot of people do, with a little bit of smoked salmon, or my favorite way with some applesauce, or if you're going to have it on the side with something. Okay, so now we'll have the stove going. And I like to use a neutral oil. I don't like to use olive oil. And it always helps to add quite a bit, more than you think. They're going to be better. If you're worried about the amount of fat, you can always use a little less, but trust me, they get crispier and better and get a nicer color if you use a little bit more oil than being a little bit too stingy with it. I think that skillet is sufficiently hot, and And depending on how big you want them, I like this sort of heaping tablespoon here. I don't know if you can see the fat splattering on camera. And I will just wait for them to cook on one side, and then we'll flip them. If in the meantime, while you're waiting, you have more juice collecting, simply use a spoon and mix it all back up. There's always some that will collect unless you really use that kitchen towel and wrung out the potato juices. Well, you want to be careful. They could have gone a little longer. But then of course I'm worried that I'm going to make them too brown on camera, and so I'd rather flip them a few times than letting them get too brown on one side. I think they're looking really gorgeous, and I like to put them just on a little bit of kitchen paper, kitchen towel to take some of the fat, and then we'll go right next to the second batch. One big russet potato is perfect. Makes about 6 of those. I think that's a perfect amount for one person. Perfect Kartoffelpuffer. Sometimes they're also called Reibekuchen, which is more from the Rhineland area. And all you need to do is you can just sprinkle some salt over them. You can also add some applesauce or some smoked salmon and some sour cream. Really delicious. Now I'm going to show you how to make mashed potatoes. We call it Kartoffelbrei, and I think it goes with so many dishes. We're starting with the same kind of potatoes. I like the starchy ones, not the waxy ones. They give a much better result. And with my trusty vegetable peeler, I'm gonna peel the potatoes because instead of cooking them, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with them. So first we'll peel them. I'll cut them into chunks, and obviously the smaller the chunks, the faster your potato will cook. It's kind of a little bit up to you how much time you have. However, you can cook them in water. I mostly like salt water because then they already have a bit of flavor when they're done cooking. But I also feel that when you're cooking them in water, peeled, they lose a lot of their nutrients, and I would like to retain some of those. This is about 2 pounds. It's a good amount for 4 people as a bit of a side dish. If you have people with good appetite, you might want to add 1 more of these big russet potatoes. Here I have a pot that I already filled with water, about maybe 1 inch or so. And here's my steamer insert. This is one from IKEA because I love that it has a little bit of a handle, and that fits neatly in here. And now all we need to do is just simply put those potato chunks in there. And then we'll steam them until they're done. True story, this is my favorite pot, even though the lid is missing the handle here. And I know I could just get a different pot, but for some reason I can't get rid of it. I am attached to it. However, lifting the lid to test the potatoes for Dennis, I have burned myself more times than I would like to admit, so I gotta be really careful here. Lifting the lid to let the hot steam out. That hot steam is really hot. Speaking from experience. Okay. Let's check them. Super nice. They're done. Now we can drain the water and return the potatoes back to the pot. So get rid of the cooking water and return the cooked potatoes back to my pot. Now I'm going to add butter, and what's nice about the butter is that when you put it right over the hot potatoes, it's going to melt. Here I have about 4 ounces of milk. Whee! With a bit of a splatter. And now I have my other ingredients. I love using sour cream. I often make my own. This time I didn't have any. I find it gives the mashed potatoes a better flavor. So I'll have some water in here. And just a little bit more interesting. You could try it without. If you don't have sour cream, you can use regular cream, or you can just use all milk. Of course, we're gonna need salt, but I also find that a little bit of bouillon gives it a better flavor. So I'm just eyeballing here. This is probably a tablespoon. This is a concentrate that I love. I always have in my refrigerator because I use it for so many things. I use it for salad dressings, and it comes in handy all the time. Can't live without it. The big jar you get at Costco. Pro tip. And yes, this is the chicken. I think that the beef bouillon is probably a little bit strong for this. Now I have my potato masher. You could use a fork, anything you have. You can also use a potato ricer, but this is probably one of my favorite activities, to mash the potatoes. There's a bit of noise here from the stove. I think the grates here are not 100% even, so there's always a little bit of movement with my pot here. And this is a little bit chunky. Some people like it that way. Some people like to have it really smooth and a very silky consistency. I think it could have just a tad more milk, but again, that depends on whether you like it just a little bit softer or just a little firmer. That's totally up to you. And the nice thing about this recipe is you can totally customize it. You can test it as you go. There's no, oh, this is, well, unless you add too much liquid, then it's harder to thicken it back up. But all we need to do now is test it a little bit. And yes, of course, it needs salt, quite a bit. And I am a big fan of nutmeg, grated nutmeg, freshly grated. Here's my little grater. The nutmeg lives up here. Super convenient. The more the better for this family. And since I like it just a little bit chunky, I don't like it super smooth where it's basically as if you put it through a blender or food processor. I like to have just a little bit to bite. But again, everybody's different. I think it's absolutely perfect. It's perfect for all those dishes. Germans love a lot of sauces. Everything has to be swimming on your plate, so to speak. If you've ever eaten in Germany, you know what I'm talking about. And mashed potatoes, Kartoffelbrei, is perfect to soak it all up and to have it with your juices, with your gravies, with everything that's going on your plate. And it works with all your meat dishes, but it's also just nice on its own with some roasted vegetables. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have questions and comments down below. Thank you so much for joining me here in my kitchen, and I'll see you in the next video.